Welcome, guys, to Zero Chills TV, and it's our final season. It's our final show, man. We were supposed to do this last Friday, but things came up, so we are doing it today because we love you guys and we can't just let you go to the festivities. Utaona Pale, I have the best of the best. This is the team that has been bringing you Zero Chills TV, Creative Cliche. Lower left, there's Nisi Amala, who has been handling our guests, treating them well, and all those mashy stuff. Then there's Mushira, who has been doing the documentation and following up on which show we are having next. Then there's Ovita, who's very good at sharing memes and disappearing when we need him sometimes. But all in all, it's been a good show. I'm Ashoya. I've been hosting some of the interviews. Nisi has hosted, Mushira has hosted. Ovita was supposed to host Akahepa, but we thank the Lord for life. So, guys, I just want to know from your end, I think we'll start ladies first. Which has been your favorite show this season? I think I can't remember how many episodes we've had, but maybe you can correct me. Which has been your favorite so far, and what have you learned so far? What have you picked from the show so far? So, Missy, go on.
Hi, everybody. It's been a very good time for the past, I think, about 13 to more than 14 weeks, actually. And if I can recap to my favorite, I actually have two. One was Yvonne Adhiambo's session, which was very informative. I liked her. She was very lively. She was very much, she was very, I think, how do I explain this? Very intriguing in terms of talking through her creative process and creation process and how much the only thing you can do as a writer is write, as a creator is create. And that was one of my favorites. Also because I think she was our first female on the show, which really meant so much to us to just create the whole gender balance. And the one that spiritually, emotionally, career-wise touched me was Masito's session. I still go back, I still say that sometimes we have people confidence wrapped in incompetence. And to me, it's been like a goal for me for the past a lot of time saying that you just do it. There's nothing that is holding you back because the only thing stopping you from you is you. So that was actually my very favorite sessions. But then just not to mention that, not to forget to mention the other people who actually graced our shows, Kina Max, Bran Bunde, Alemu, the first person which really showed us faith in this, and even the guys who connected us to other people who came through, Kina Liz. Honestly, for me, I think the past weeks have been very eye-opening in my career as a creative, and also how I go through my process, and as well as how I influence other people. Now talk to the people now what I expect from my own standards. So I hope this has been the same journey for you, or if not, just drop to us your comments how you felt it's been, your favorite shows, your biggest learnings, and what do you look forward to next year. I don't know if I should go to what I look forward to. Eddie, should I?
No. We'll do that after this. So let's go to someone else. Let's go to Mushira. Mushira, what has been your
Okay.
major? What is that one thing that you've picked this season?
Thanks, Eddie. It's been a great time hosting some guests and also interacting with others. So you can quite tell that it's almost quite difficult for me to pick out and say, yeah, this is especially the most. But having hosted a few guests and also being a writer myself, I'd like to say that Aisha's was one of the very vibrant sessions that I had here as the host and also moderator to some extent, because I think we brought new perspectives into the understanding of the idea of feminism and very likely the Kenyan feminism. So from her novel perspectives of what feminism is and what feminism ought to stand for, I think that was quite moving and vibrant for me. Also, our talk with Lesalon Kasaini, the author of Three Balls from the Blue, and Bambazi, the author of two anthologies. I mean, those were also other conversations that really came out quite strongly for me because, I was getting into the mind of creators, into the mind of writers to find out really what is it going on behind all this productivity. And also Ramauluoch was did really great then coming on board. He freestyled. He didn't come like any other guest, but quite informative and lively for that matter. So those are among my top picks, but really I enjoyed every session that I attended, and all of them,
Yeah.
all the guests had brought new times to us. So yeah.
Yeah. And what about you, Vita? What was your major highlight for this season?
So for me, what I can say, all the guests were, of course, we know before inviting someone to their candid creative conversation, we had to do some catastrophe for sure, some little background. Of course, we had other people that we thought they could fit, but due to their areas of interest, they couldn't fit in. So what I can say, all the guests were at our caliber. They had they had various or rather different perspectives about their areas of interest and everything. So well, one guest who stood out for me was Masito, Masito and Emuron. Uh, those two people stood out, and well, of course, I have to appreciate the other guests, Akina Ramsey, Bunde, um, Aisha. So well, what I can say, like we did learn a lot from those guests that we invited, and as I said, everyone was special because everyone had his or her area of interest, which they really dissect, and we learned a lot from what they shared with us.
Amazing, amazing.
And maybe,
Yes, go on.
maybe just to add into something, because I've had like a million sessions that were very much interesting. I forgot to mention DJ Delight really gave a very good perspective in terms of how creatives position themselves in these tough times. And I think I've experienced that later on how we even negotiate for terms, helping other creatives negotiate for their gigs, because you're not what the client says, you are what you say. So like I think I believe and actually trust this whole process has been very, very enlightening, giving us like skills to understand who we are, to position ourselves as creatives who understand what they do. And even anyone else who's joining this or going to watch this later, if anything, I think you should actually be part of the Creative Cliche community in any way you can.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. I think I'll agree with what Nisi and Ovita were saying about some of the guests, especially when it comes to our first guest was Alemu, who I remember we called, was it 2 hours to the show, and then we told him, yo, you guy, we don't have a guest. Then we called a few guys, we told them, yo, do you want to listen to this guy? And everyone came. I remember it was a Google Meets. And every time there was this guy who kept, what was it, logging into the show and trying to, show nudes and stuff like that. And then we realized, we don't have to do this via Google Meets. We can go live. And I think it has greatly impacted. I especially liked Alemus because he was one guy who was very sharp but very silent. Like, he does not force things. He does not force the creativity to come. It just inspires you, and that's, I think, he was my first highlight. Of course, there was Yvonne, whom I personally adore. There was also Rama was quite funny. Who else? Who else? Those ones are the ones who.
Biko, bro. There was Biko. When Biko came in, and I think that was one of the longest episodes because guys were just like, Biko, show us your face. Biko, show us your face. Are you guys frozen? Hi.
Oh, sorry. We
I was
we read.
saying, um,
Yes,
there was Biko. Yeah, I think he had the longest show because guys are just like, Biko, show us your face. And then he was
yes,
like, saying stranger.
yeah. Yeah. There was Biko as well. Biko was actually, yeah. There was Biko who was quite fun and he refused to show us his face. But it's all good. At least we are there for the knowledge as well. But now I want us to go into something else. I want us to now talk about the challenges that we had this season, because we all know we missed one show, and it pains me up to date because Nisi at least told me that we can't miss. We have to keep this thing consistent. And that Friday that we missed that show, I always go back to that Friday, which really pains me. So I want to know you. Me, that has been a major challenge. I can't stop thinking about that Friday. What you could have done better, if maybe you could have made it work. But there's always that Friday. So you guys tell me, which was your biggest challenge?
Mushira.
Oh, I thought you were on to Nisi. Okay, the greatest challenge for me, I think we can agree that we've been doing the candid conversations alongside many other things that preoccupy our days. So I could say taking that up as our responsibility, or that integral thing that we were supposed to do and carry on with it over time without fail. It really called for some extra effort, and it wasn't a challenge as such, but it was something that required some more effort, So that was it for me. That after a whole day, and some long nights, I have to wake up and we have to do things with some pressure, if I could call it so. But then there was joy in seeing everything coming to pass. When you are prepared for it, doesn't matter how much it feels like it's taking from you in terms of time and energy and efforts and whatnot. The fact that we had guests showing up and really coming to talk to our audience was a great consolation. So yeah, I think in future we'll need to do something as far as long-term planning is concerned, and trying to ensure that we ease up the pressure. So apart from that, everything else was just all right. Yeah.
Nisi?
On my side, I think the biggest challenge was one, getting the speakers in time, because someone agrees, then 2 days to the day or on the day itself something comes up, then now you've communicated, you have to uncommunicate and say that so our guest has changed, or even not being able for us being hard to tell our audience in time that who's gonna be our next guest. That was one. Number two was, at some point, I was having trouble balancing between Creative Cliche and work. So I missed a couple of episodes, which I don't know if we can find like a proper balance. The other thing is, some episodes were too short. Like Masitos could have gone for like 3 days. It could have been a whole conference, or even who else has went for long. How could I forget? Kibaki. How could I forget? That was one cool show, but his phone was going off. So there are days that he was in the village, there was no power, and what else? One other thing was, what else? I think ideally the thing that stands out for me is the positive vibes that came out of this, the positive feedback, positive outcome in terms of the learnings. But generally, the shows were worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think for me, I missed. Max gave us, by the way, as Johnny is saying, Max gave us 30 minutes, and I really felt bad because Max is a very intelligent guy. So this is a public call out for Max. If you're able to come, please come. Ovita ametoka, I don't know where he's gone, but he's coming back. Also, the other major challenge was, just like Nisi had said, and Mushira had also alluded to, was getting guests. Sometimes we book guests a week in advance, or two, even months in advance, and then they will tell us, we don't feel like we are making it, and that is quite heartbreaking, considering you've been hyping the show, you are excited.
You guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie, you remind me that Dr. Wandia Joya was supposed to show
Yes.
up, but
Yeah.
she hasn't. But I still hope someday, she'll
Yeah.
join
They're
the
couple,
conversation.
but we still just keep on holding, hoping that maybe next year we'll have them on board. Because
Exactly.
there are
Sure,
people who even
sure.
told us, I'll be in the next 2 minutes, then they go off. Like, bro, what are you gonna do here? And even I think for that we can shout out Oliver. Because
Yeah.
Oliver taught me a word that I live by. It's called schmooze. Look it
Yes.
up. Schmooze. Schmooze. Schmooze, baby, schmooze.
Yeah. I think that there's also, Oliver taught us schmoozing, which was very funny. I think the guests were so many, I can't even remember all of them. But I think the common running theme that, if I were to take something away, is that I got two things, or was it three things? The first one was, you have to put in the work in everything you do in creativity. You have to put in the work. Number two, you have to show up, which I guess is the same as putting in the work, because if you don't put in the work, you won't show up. And lastly is that you can't keep saying this is not being done for me. You need to go out there. As creatives, we need to go out there and own the table. Everyone is talking about, I don't have a seat at the table. Someone is saying, oh, then bring a folded chair. But I think all this is the wrong way of going about it. It's all about building yourself and building. There's a guest who came and said that you can never go wrong with self-improvement and self-development. And I think that is one thing that has been the major highlight for this show for this year. Because if you see their profiles, when we used to, research them, you'd find that these guys have done a lot of things. And most of the time, last week's guest, Kwanza Alan Mwanike, he told us his biggest regret was not doing more while he was younger, not showing up for these opportunities, not taking these opportunities. So I do appreciate that. And, as young people, we have to show up. We have to force our way to the table. If they don't give us space at that table, we build our own table. I think that has been my major learning for this season. And that is what I'll be carrying on to the next season. Now, before you guys give me your major learning, I want to know we've talked about the challenges and your favorite episodes, but I want to know, what was your proudest moment? When did you know that, I feel good about this thing? On which episode, Ama, when did it hit you that we can do it? In as much as sometimes on Fridays we are fighting who is hosting. I don't want to host, or Vita doesn't want to host, Nisi doesn't want to host. It's nobody wants to host because this show is very by the guys, hosting a 1-hour show is tiring. Kama sasa najua tushachoka kuongea, but we do it because we love it. So I want to know from you guys, which was that moment that you said, this show is working for me?
So should Nisi go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go ahead.
Yeah.
When there's one that was DJ Delight, I think there's a part where he said that you guys have a very good platform. I'm glad that you guys actually reached out. I love how Eddie reached out and asked for me to show up. I didn't know about you guys, but being here makes me feel like it's the right thing to do, and I think you guys have a very good platform. So in Delight said that I'm willing to have you guys involved. I'd be willing to link you guys with other guests. It was some sort of validation that whatever we're doing is a worthy cause. It's helping very many people. It's connecting people over tough times. At the same time, giving guys a space to educate themselves. So though it came in much later, that was the one that actually stood out for me. The other one was which one? I'd go back to the first one, Alemu. Despite being the first person, he showed up with his caliber, what he stands for, and all that. Those are not guys that just walk into a room and say hi to and call them bro and go home with them. He agreed to show up, and it never ended. When Sandeep came, again, a very big person, agreed to be in this small room with us, small virtual room. Me, basically, I feel like the idea of people agreeing to be part of this meant a lot, because to be honest, we reached out to so many people. Some of them blatantly said no. Like, this thing doesn't work for me. It's heartbreaking, but we had people that actually showed up. So the fact that they showed up, that meant everything for me.
Amazing. Shira?
Well, yeah, I do agree with Nisi that people offering their time and their expertise freely, to come on board and share their knowledge and everything without a pay and giving them their time. That was just amazing. But really, Ted Mudhusi, when I asked, I think this is more personal because I asked how approachable he was, and he said, "Hey, I am quite approachable. Just find me on this contacts." To me, I thought this is now a platform where you create networks, or you find people in high places with ease, and they are willing to speak to you, they are willing to listen to you, they are willing to offer you the kind of assistance that you yearn for. So when I asked that straight forward, and he responded in the affirmative, I said, wow, this platform is bridging gap, between we, the starters, and people who have been in the industry for long. And it all depends on the interest that we show. So the fact that we are here and we are seeking to make strides and they are offering to be there for us was quite motivating. So I thought, wow, I'm really in the right place. Yeah.
I think there's something that you've said which has really captured me, which is about networking. And because this was another thing that all these guests kept reiterating, you guys, you need to network, especially even DJ Delight. I think his show was majorly based on networking. How do people know you and how do you know them? It's not just you knowing people. Do they know you in return? And how do they know you? Because our network, sorry to use the cliche, but it's our network. And are you networking enough? Are you going out there to meet these people who, because most guys get hurt because of the relationship they have. Suffice to say, in this industry, it's all about who do you know, and what you know now comes in later. Fine, you know the right people, you get into the door, but can your creativity now keep up? Now that's where the relationship needs to be maintained. So that thing that you said about showing up, and giving it your all, and also networking, which was another highlight for me. You have to keep on networking. It's every day. It's building relationships every day. Every day you have to send in a call text. Niaje, how are you doing? Even if they don't reply, just let them know at the back of your mind you've been thinking about them. And it's those small things, especially in work, that take people seriously. So next time, maybe if an opportunity comes, obviously the person who has been most recently talking to will come into mind. Now, before we go into the last maybe session, I want to know, Ovita, what about you? What has been your proudest moment of the show? And because you missed the other one, which has been your challenge for this show? What have you been going through in this show?
Okay, so you can hear me, right? Okay. So let me start with the downfalls. I'll start by saying we approached someone who I really wanted him to be on the show. We spoke even on call. I even told him to share his mail so that I can share the information about the show and some of the guests that we've hosted. I was really down to to host this guy. And then I think a few days when it was on Monday, so I was making confirmations just to be aligned and all. He blue ticked me. I was so hurt, man. I was so hurt, but it's okay. It's okay. And then yeah, so and then also the guy who hacked us during the Alemu show. That one was a pretty, it was pretty bad on us, but we managed. The good thing, Alemu is a very understanding person. So I even thought that atasema, yo, you guys need to figure out how to, pay for something or Zoom or Blue Jeans or whatever. But he understood our problems. I really have to say that was great. Highlight of the show.
Before Vita continues, there's something he has not mentioned where after the hacking and we went now officially to StreamYard, there was this time we didn't have a guest, and I remember I was telling Missy, so what do we do? Because it was Friday, we don't have a guest. Ovita's guest has pulled out of the show at the last minute. It's Friday, 2 p.m. We don't have anyone to host, but the show has to go on. And we called Alemo, and Alemo was like, "Yo, let me get you someone." And he got us Steve Bayer, who, to our surprise, was very interesting. He had so much for a young man to share, and it was amazing. So I like that about Alemo. That's why we say truly this season we've been blessed. So Vita, pardon me, continue.
Okay, it's okay. Yeah, Steve Bayer. Steve Bayer is my best friend. We play fantasy together, and I was so happy to see him on the show. So thank you, Steve, for coming through for us. Also, I remember one of the there was a time that we didn't have a guest. I told Ashioya, how about I host you? Because umekuwa kusema yo, you can't, umekata host guest and all. I told him, man, you have potential. Like you have a lot. I mean, if I look at his CV, he qualifies. So, and then though he turned down my request, so I also felt bad. The highlight of the show, I'd say, I just think I really enjoyed. Like I'm also in a creative industry. It was this was very insightful for us. everywhere. I mean, all the guests, they were very insightful. As I had mentioned earlier, each and every guest were very unique. There's no one who, like, who repeated, or rather, uh, mentioned something that the other guest had said previously. So it was, a moment of learning and all. And also, that day that Ashura told me that we're gonna have Beak on the show, I was like, I was a bit confused, because Biko, how do you afford Biko in the first place? Guy, this guy, just to see him, you have to pay. Because yeah, so it was, I was so excited to have Biko. I was telling everyone, yo, you guys, I know you've read about Biko, you read about Biko every day, so here we go. We are hosting Biko on Zero Chills TV. So also something now to mention on as I wind up, future for our future. I hope that we will keep this going. It has been very insightful, fruitful, and I think we are now. For me, I'd say this is the right direction. Yeah. So yes.
Amazing, amazing. Now, guys, we're almost coming to a close. I know normally you're the ones telling the guests like that, but we're almost coming to a close. And I want to know, Ovita has already jumped the gun and he started talking about the future, which is the last segment. But I want also to know if there was a line that will summarize this season for you, yeah, what will it be, and who was the guest that will most likely have said it, kama they didn't say it, but I want to know the line that will summarize this season for you, the 16 episodes that we've had so far.
Can't wait. I have my answer. Stay hungry. Stay hungry. Stay wanting. There's no limits to learning. You always learn new things. Network. I think they all said that. Every guest said that. So that's the one that summarizes this season for me.
Mushira?
Yeah, Nancy has said it, but also you have to start. That you have to start. Doesn't matter. You just have, if you are a writer, you just have to write. If you are doing any creative thing, you just have to start. That just have to do it. It just don't happen. You have to start. Yeah.
Ovita?
So for me, I'd say what I learned. Let me just be honest. After all this series, the 16 episodes we had, my esteem, or rather, me shooting my shots to people and grew. Like it's so damn. So I can do it. I mean, I can talk to everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, what you stand for, or your position in the community. So, talking to these guys, I realized there's one session, a guest who was was taking us through how you can how you can approach someone. I don't know if Kama, you guys remember that episode where he was saying, if you maybe, let's say you are in a forum and you want to approach Biko, you want to approach someone, just go straight to them, shake them, look at their, I mean, look them straight in their eyes, shake them like family, and then from there now say, my name is. Do you guys remember that episode? Amam Likom Melala. So
I
I really learned.
remember. I think it was
Yeah.
Eli.
So yeah. So I guess from all this 16 episode, what I learned is no one is limited. Just shoot your shot. If you feel you fit, you can do it. Go for it. Doesn't matter. Criticism, badai. Yeah.
Amazeballs. Now, again, as we come to the close, I'm serious. I don't want to let you guys go, but I have to, because professionalism. I think what we'll do before you go to, I think, should we do the future first, and then I think we should do the future first. Mushira amepotea. So I want to know how the future looks for you, Nisi, and how the future looks for you, Ovita, and how Mushira is back, how the future looks to each and every one of you. Where do you see this going? Where do you see us doing better? Of course, we are going, but then we are going to send you a questionnaire, a survey. You tell us what you think about the show, what you can do better. But from inside out, I want us to know from my team members what they think the future is going to be, what they think we can do better. Of course, zingine kama mnaona ni dangerous sana, tutakuwa na team meeting, tuende na Kisumu tukule samaki tukiongea house cleaning kidogo, but just say those small things that you think we can improve on, that we can do better, and from the lessons that we've learned and from the future that we see. So go. Miss
Akani kama nafungua hizi milango zote kila time. What do we do? What the future looks like? I think the future is pretty solid. I'm looking forward to us expanding our community, having more people looking forward, and even going beyond. I feel like our past has been mostly about advertising and writing, which is okay because most of us are in that space. Those are our networks. But hoping that in the future we have more industries that are we have more industries included, more ladies in the show. Also, hopefully, we have some guests back. I would really want to have David Morethi back. I'd want to have Masito back. I'd want to have Oliver back. I'd want to have literally, okay, I just have to go back and watch these episodes because I think I fell in love deeply. But then also from our community, share with us, who do you want on? Put down the challenge out, that someone you want there so that they can also come into the show to have more people into this. Yes, so a bigger community for the future.
Amazeballs, a bigger community for the future is what Nisi sees in the future. What about you, Ovita? What do you see?
I see light at the end of the tunnel. I see a very bright future for us, and I know the direction that we are on currently. It's an amazing one, very promising. So I'd really want also, as Missy had mentioned, we need also to explore other industries. Also, we need, I know we have a lot of women in this country who are doing great things, amazing things, and I think we also need we also need to include them in our. Maybe we can do an alternating show this week. If we have a male guest, next week we do have a female guest. How I can say about us now for the future. Now I know we have to think on a framework or rather strategy for next year. I think for next year, I know next year we will have plenty of time to plan, and in this planning, I know we'll do great things. And I know also another thing for the team is we are not going to be afraid next year. If you want to send Dr. James Mwangi an email, tell him, yo, we want to host you. We want to talk about banking. If you want to send Oigara, if you want to talk to, we just have to shoot our shots. This guy is very
Just
approachable.
that.
Yeah. So hakuna kuogopa
Yes.
next year. We are going big. We are going better. Yeah. So I hope everyone akuna inside. For me, I'd say my self-esteem iko huko at the par. So I'll approach anyone that we feel that we should. If you guys in the comment section tell us who do you want to see on the show, we will use that screenshot plus a very, very detailed email. We will shoot our shots and let's pray we'll get them. Yeah.
Amazeballs. There's no one that is too big to go after, by the way. So always shoot your shot. Always. You'll be surprised what you'll catch. Mushira, what about you? We can't hear you.
Sure, I think you're on mute.
Mushira, we can't hear you. Okay, since we can't hear Mushira, maybe I'll jump in with mine and say, for me, the future, I see a bigger team. I see more women, at least even in the back end of our team, because right now we only have one woman, and sometimes we need more women as well on the table so that we get to hear more perspectives. Na pia when a woman approaches another woman, the chances of her getting accepted are higher than when I approach another woman. But these are just my thoughts. I also think, Missy, are you okay? Am I going crazy?
I'm just saying,
But-
I just say the people turn me down are mostly women, but whatevs, man.
It's life. It's life. It's life. But we also want to throw a challenge to the ladies out there. Please accept this show. You can't keep saying that you don't get invited, but when you invite you, we have a limited audience, but it's a highly effective audience who are very interactive. And one thing I've learned about our audience is that when I posted this on our pages, I think today in the morning, they were like, "Oh my God, it's the last show already." We no, don't go, don't go. But in life, everything needs to take some time off, and I think this is our time also for Zero Chills to re-strategize and offer you better. When we started this show back in I think March, July, we wanted to host it for select few our friends only, but then we saw the impact that it was having on them, and we opened it up to everyone. So for me, I see a future where we can have now live. You can even have the audience in the show as well, so that you get to ask and network with these people physically, meet them. Because what we always complain about is that nobody's getting us there. But if we as Zero Chills can give you that path to meet these guys, we will do it, because we are all about helping people achieve their dreams. I think that has been the purpose for this show so far, and we've done well. Tuliambiwa ujisifu usiposifiwa. We've done well. I believe we've done well. I know we have so many fights within the team, but hiyo ndo itakuwa ya mwisho. So Mushira, can you hear us? Do you have something to say? Okay, we still can't hear Mushira. Now to the last part of the show, which is, I'm going to divide this into two. I'm going to let Nisi is going to thank all the guests who came for the show. Then Ovita will thank our audience who also appeared for the show, who were there for the show, who came through. So Nisi, I don't know if you can remember all the guests, but I can remember all of them. I have them here. So I'm going to mention. So there was Sandeep. Was Sandeep our first one, or who? There was
Sandeep was
Sandeep.
our second. Alemi was our first.
Oh, Alem was our first one. Sandeep was the second. There was Masito, our third.
Oliver third.
And Bunde, our
Master
fourth.
was fourth.
Who else? No, Masito was third. Ama?
No, Masito
Bunde-
was fourth. Oliver was third. Masito was fourth. Mbunde was fifth. Then who was sixth?
Yvonne was sixth. And then Max Ngare. After Max, there was Robert Nganga, who by then nobody mentioned, but he's a teddy bear. Nilikuwa naambiwa na madem, "Ay, that guy is a teddy bear, you guy." So everyone loved Robert Nganga. There was Liz Lenjo, who really offered some gems of wisdom. I hope if you guys can rewatch that show, you should rewatch that show. That, I think, of all the intellectual shows we've had, she was very clear and she was very articulate. There was Steve Bayer. Why am I doing Nisi's job? So Nisi, please thank the guests.
Then there was Ken Juguna. Then there was Aisha. Then there was Lesalian.
Tony Juguna.
Tony Juguna, yes. Ken Juguna was someone who used to comment every day, so I'll never forget that name. Ken with the double N. So yes. So thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for saying yes to our requests to you. I still get amazed at how Instagram DMs and emails and texts actually led to the opportunity for us to get to listen. So to all our speakers who could be on this call right now, who are gonna watch this later, we really say thank you. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for offering your wisdom with young creatives. It has impacted. Basically, everyone in this room right now has good feedback from what we've learned in the past weeks. I personally is very grateful because it's opened my ways in different ways of thinking, my networking skills, my confidence in self. So if anything, just know that at least 6 or 7 people have gotten direct impact that they can accredit to you because of your 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes that you gave to us. Thank you also again for the ones that also connected us to the next people, because there are days that we had struggles getting our next guests, but our guests gave us their friends who ended up being like a huge blessing for the Creative Cliche. So from us, it's a thank you. And I hope that it's not over, that when we do our next TEDx Creative Cliche, in Jesus' name, amen, we might have you also on board back for like a Creative Cliche. What do you think? Like, to back together or together fans or something like that. Everyone in the same room. So thank you so much from me.
Amazeballs. I don't think I can add anything to that. But like she said, I especially want to thank the speakers who connected us to other speakers. You guys, you don't know what you did for us, but that was a lifesaver. Mushira, can you speak now? Oh, sorry, we still can't hear you. Pole. So I guess we're just listening
think
to the show. Yeah.
here's an audio situation.
Yeah. So these are the other problems that we keep on facing, challenges of audio and internet. But soon, you guys, we will have great studios. Ovita, please thank all the was not speakers, the audience members. I think the Zero Chills family who came through for us. I mean, I love these guys. They don't know how much. I can name them one by one, but I know there are others who joined through shadow accounts. The others who came for the first show and the last show. I know them. Kwanza kuna moja text, but ni sawa. So Vita, please thank all our Zero Chills family for joining the show.
Uh, okay, first and foremost, I really want to say, you see those people when we used to wake up status and they would comment and ask, what time is the show? Can you share a live link? You guys must say like that small hope, yeah, really pushed us. And I just want to say thank you, man. Thank you, like thank you so much, and more blessings on you. Also, there were people who, of course, followed us on. If you guys are keen, subscribers increased during the period, during the 16 episodes. So I just want to say also thank you for those people who used to share on their timeline, those people who are never tired, like us each and every Friday, or rather each and every week, we were, sharing information, uh, you know, sharing every kind of information on their TL. And now some of them, of course, they got bored with the online, I mean, the webinars and all. But there are some who just, they were never tired. They kept supporting us. And also, if you never supported us during this, the entire time that we've had all the shows, remember next year you have all the time next year, because we are planning, and I know we will go big. We're gonna host some of the big, captains of the industry next year, God willing. So do not feel, do not feel like you let us, you really let us down, or anything, because I know next year we also need your support. And also, I also want to thank this team. You guys haven't really, clapped for yourself. This amazing team, Chinedu, Nisi, Mushira, yeah, and those, Yegon, where's the Yegon? Yes, Yegon. These people, they really made sure that everything ran smoothly, and I just want to say thank you. And of course, for those people who followed us, they never commented, but they were just there to listen. The listeners, yeah. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and as Zero Chills family, we love you. Yeah.
Peter keeps jumping the gun. I was the one who's supposed to thank the team members. But Nisa, I'd like to thank each and every one of you guys. I really love you guys and I appreciate all of you. I know your strengths and your weaknesses. I know who can do what better and who could not disturb me in which area. I know all of you. I've lived with all of you, and I know how all of you will react in every situation. So I want to thank each and every one of you, starting from Yagon Emmanuel, who is Yagon Ikamule, the silent commenter. You will not see him, but he's very effective and he's a very humble guy. And we appreciate Yagon for the back end, for everything that he does for us, on Zero Chill's back end, we got guests, making sure the comments are going live and all whatnot, hosting the show. So Yegon, thank you. I'd like to thank Ovita for also. Ovita does the disappearing act, but he shares a lot. He shares the posters a lot. Sometimes even when I don't want to share the posters, posters iko happy. And I'm like, I don't want to do this shit, man. I don't want to do this shit again. I'm tired. But he keeps pushing, and we all need that pushing once in a while. So thank you, Ovita. I'd like to thank Mushira for also pushing me a lot. Mushir actually is the one guy who who will text me at 12 a.m. So as the guest confirmed, and I'm like, I don't want to think about the show on a Monday. It's Monday. Give me time. At least let us rest. We edit the videos for last week, and he's never stopped pushing. He's always thinking of ways we can do more. and ways we can improve the show and which guest we can do. Sometimes his weakness is that he will ramble on, but it's something I'm trying to train him. Just take it slow, let the guest speak more, enjoy your time, just learn, let it flow, take it easy with the guest, and but he's a literature student, so we all understand he likes to go deep, and sometimes deep is not where he should be. So we thank Mishira for his insight, his wisdom, and he's a very hard worker. So if you want to employ someone, employ Mushira. There's Nisi as well. I wanted to say last but not least, which is bad. So there's Nisi, who I'd also like to thank for everything, for pushing me sometimes. By the way, these guys really push me. I just have to confess. I'm quite lazy sometimes, especially when I don't feel a guest. I'd be like, oh my God, have I said that loud? Especially when sometimes I don't feel like this guest will give us something, or I'm cautious about the guest, and they'll tell me, no, this guest knows what he's doing, or she knows what she's doing, and I'm like, yeah, but we've not seen him, and they're like, no, just trust us. And it takes that trust to build a team, and I'd like to thank Nisi for inculcating that in the team, for always thinking of ways we can do the show more, which other different formats can we try, what can we do to make the experience of the guest better, how can we improve the show. Those small things that we take it for granted, but they really matter. So thank you, Nisi, for showing up. Thank you for being there. Even sometimes by the way, we have a lot of disagreements in this group sometimes. I disagree with Ovita, and then I agree with Nisi. I disagree with Mushira, I agree with Ovita. We have those small squabbles, and this is an internal secret. We don't even have a group. We just operate like that. No group, because we realize WhatsApp groups will tutazoeana, but we operate like that. We trust each other and we work together. It doesn't, sometimes as every family there are fights, but we always work together. Finally, I'd also like to thank myself, because we never clap for yourself. So I'd like to thank myself for keeping up with these people. These people are headache. There are 3 minds. They're all strong, independent thinkers. I'm stubborn as well. I'm a Taurus, by the way. I'm very stubborn. Once I've decided. And these guys are, they are the worst to be with, because, them, they have decided, also have decided. So we always reach an impasse. So what now? But one thing I've learned is that there's always a solution. And the fact that they believed in it, and the fact that they're here 16 episodes later, I do not take that for granted. From me, I thank myself, I thank Nisi, I thank Ovita, I thank Mushira and Yegon. And there's another guy called Jemo who takes care of our website. We just thank him like that because I'm time owner.
He's a John Cena. Now you see me, now you don't.
He's our John Cena. Of course, we also have to thank God. We are prayerful people for guiding us, for giving. By the way, having an audience for 16 shows, I'm about to get sentimental, but having an audience for 16 shows is not easy. And I appreciate, I do not take it for granted. You guys have done us good. You've been faithful to us. You've been loyal, and we'll never stop thanking you for that. I don't know if any of my team members have anything more to add before we go.
I think Eddie has cried. He's poured his heart out. We should just go home. Already.
Yeah, we should just go. So guys, we're going to take a small break for us to strategize what we want to do next season. We're going to send you link for our surveys so that you can answer. It's a one page, so you can do it when you are taking a dump in the loo, which is very good time to do things, or when you're in the bus stuck in traffic and all that. So it's not going to take long. Also, I forgot to announce, we are having a magazine coming up. We're still setting up the interviews and everything. We have great, amazing young people. This Creative Cliche has been all about the experienced people in their fields who have decades of experience, and they know their stuff. Now we have the youngins, people with visions, people who want to do good in the society, people who believe in the fire of their dreams. Every day, by the way, I'm inspired. When I read these stories, I believe that the power is in us as young people. And once we unite like this, that we united here in Zero Chills, and all of you joining us at home, there's nothing we cannot do. So look out for the magazine. Once we agree with our team members when to launch, kila kitu itakuwa shwari. as we wait for season 2 of Creative Cliche, all I can say is that I love you guys. See you next time. So, guys, toodles. Bye.